Alright you guys, I'm going to be showing you how I tone my images using Photoshop. I don't use much of Lightroom. I strictly stick to Photoshop for some reason. But I'm going to get started. I open up a Camera Raw filter. And I start off by the shadows. I increase the shadows on it. About 75 to 80% is good. And I want to keep some details in her face. So I'm going to lower the highlights. And increase the blacks, of course, so I can have much to work with. So this is basically all I do in Camera Raw filter. I don't really mess with the hue or the anything, to be honest, or the curves perhaps, but then I click OK. And as you can see, the tones change. I have more details in her face. The freckles are more visible, and the color of the red, you can see it better. So after I do that, I add a contrast, which I use the black and white layer, and then I make it a soft light layer. And it gives me more more tone to the image. So after I do that, I play with the reds a lot, especially with her hair and her having freckles. I wanna make those pop out. Okay, so after I do that, you may wanna I usually duplicate layers, so I don't have, if I make a mistake, I can just go back to it. But after that, I usually add some curves, and I start off by the blue, because being that I'm colorblind, I really can't see much anything else. See, like this red and this green, I really can't see the difference between that. But anyway, I lower the highlights of the blue. I kind of just block them, and then I reduce it about 43%, make it a bit of a light. I'm gonna reduce it more after it, but you see, about 13%, and that adds even more color and it focus on the skin of the model. So after I do that, I want to do a little bit of skin retouching. For some reason, after I do my curves and all my, I'm gonna reduce a little bit more because I don't like it. For some reason, I usually do frequency separation after I tone my images. So I start by pressing Control I. If it's a Mac you're using, it's Command I. Then I make it a vivid light, and then I high pass it and make it kind of like a blurry effect to it, similar to Gaussian blur, but then the Gaussian blur cancels it. So I use Gaussian blur, and then I use about 4.0%, 4.0 pixels, I'm sorry. And then I add a black vector mask, which which you use it by pressing Alt and the vector mask button. I'm sorry. So after I do that, make sure you have a white tool, white brush. I zoom into my model, and you can see her face is really detailed right now, but I lose all the information of all the wrinkles and all anything that I don't want in there, but yet I keep all my freckles. So I just kind of just brush around her face. Try to stay away from the eyes, anything that's very sharp. And the lips as well. So after I do that, the image is pretty much done. Took us less than 5 minutes. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something.